What is up, YouTube? Steam blockchain. Today I want to talk about the topic I want to call will always be a demand for content creators. There will always be a demand for content creators that is doing videos, new videos, or original videos, that is doing great text-based content that is engaging and fun, and people that are taking cool new photos and that is basically talented in that. Okay, so there will always be a demand for content creators. So let me explain this. So one thing that I think people tend to forget or may not be aware of because maybe they haven't been content creators in the past is this idea that many times you just have to find a way to connect content consumers with the content creator. And if someone is creating a piece of content and it doesn't have any consumers, it doesn't mean that it's not value. It just means these people haven't found each other. Like the piece of content hasn't found the consumers that probably should be there if it's decent material. So for every content creator in the long run, there will be 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 interested content consumers that may be interested in that piece of content, because for every 1,000 content consumers, there will be one super good content creator, right? So there will always be there will always be more consumers, people that are looking to consume something, and they want the best. They want the best. They want niche entertainment, and they want in the particular field that they are engaged or interested in. So observing YouTube, what has happened with YouTube is there is still like a massive demand for content on YouTube, but what is happening is when a new generation comes up every 5 years or so, they are looking at YouTube and they're looking at people that has been there a long time, and they are and they try to maybe make some videos and they're not getting any traction, or they see that, whoa, I have to invest 1 to 3 years before I can get some traction. And that's actually the case. Like, that is actually the game, how it works. That it takes these first couple of years to just get rolling. But then all these people that started to create content very early, they have built up a following, and they worked a lot towards that. They basically can just put out any video and then instantly get views, because the content consumers know where to find, or they are following something, so they're easily gonna quickly consume something. So this is something that new people tend to forget, that they think they think it's just about, or they think if you create a piece of content consumers are gonna come there instantly, and they're gonna enjoy it, and they're gonna love it, and they're gonna follow you. But there is so much more involved. There is so much more involved, because a content creator basically, like, and the thing is, like, yeah, some people saying that everyone is a content creator, but when I'm talking about that there will always be a demand for content creators, I mean like content creators that are loyal and that keeps improving, and that every day they're sort of doing it as a living, at trying to improve a little bit on whatever now they're doing, so they can create a better so-called product to content consumers. So you can have this system where everyone is getting what you want. And then when a person is sort of reaching this level of being a so-called content creator, there will always be 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 people interested in that particular piece of content, because there's always, you see with TV or TV shows or music, there's always people looking to basically consume, right? But the thing is, with new technology, it's not that the content consumers know about all the new technology, and that it takes many, many years to get people to know about the latest and greatest technology. For example, blockchains and stuff like that. And yeah, there is so much. After that 2018 year, this industry got cleaned out a bit, and it doesn't really have that good reputation right now. And a lot of people, including investors, that sort of got into this new thing, they sort of got burned, a lot of them. But if you're looking at it from 2019 year, there is way more humbleness, I think, from different developers and different teams, and even from investors, where that 2018 like bad year, it actually seems, at least from what I saw, like the first 6 months of 2019, it actually produced a lot of humble work that was way better than all of the stuff that people sort of saw in 2018. So in many ways, these super boring years can actually be good, because there's like stuff that can happen in the background, even though it goes a little bit slower. But there was always this thing of like easy money is everyone has always or have already took the easy money, right? And that the content creators that have been doing content since 2010, they sort of saw this like blockchain, this blogging thing with the Steam blockchain, a lot of them 2018, and they saw, oh wow, this is kind of the same thing as we already been doing for 10 years at other places. So they are like, for them to have patience is really fine, because they have been making content on other places. Well, of course, this industry attracts a lot of different groups, and content creators are really a small niche of people. I think people tend to forget this. That what I think is going to happen is eventually it's going to be in the blockchain space. They are eventually going to have better content creators, because they eventually have the technology to reward content creators much more than with fiat systems, especially because it becomes liquid much faster. And this doesn't seem to be the case right now, just because with YouTube and Instagram, where they're mainly relying on influencers, it looks like that is always going to be the thing. But it becomes pretty obvious when there is going to be consumers on these crypto places that they are going to be so much superior, because they can already do what YouTube can do, they can already do what Instagram can do, they can already do what WordPress can do, but they give ownership also, and that is the most important aspect, and they give liquidity also. So there will always be a demand for content creators. Even if a person, and I think that every person should do this, like just try to make 10 pieces of content in a day, just to challenge yourself, like try to be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. And what I mean with making 10 pieces of quality, try to make it so it actually, or maybe 5 pieces, just try to do it to see if you can challenge yourself to create more that has a certain level of quality. And the thing is that most people actually can do the same thing, but just 5x more. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time, but just to see, like, they can challenge themselves and they can store up content. They don't have to post everything instantly, right? But they can store it up and then post later. But just to see that even if they would work at their highest so-called output, there would always be more you would be able to do. You can always enhance your content a little bit more. There's always going to be a demand, even though a lot of people, and this is always also how it's going to work, even on blockchain systems, there is also a lot of consumers that do not have accounts, that do not care about the accounts, but that still wants to consume, right? And that's always how it's going to be. Like, most people that are consuming stuff, they are not going to let you know about it, but it kind of works as a funnel eventually, that a lot of them eventually may get interested in systems, right? So, for example, if you see an Instagram photo that has maybe 5 likes, it can have that post can have 100 or 200 content consumers, but it looks, because it's very deceptive with a lot of these clicks and ranking systems, it can look extremely deceptive, where it looks like that is not a popular piece of content. But it may actually be a popular piece of content, but it's just that a lot of people enjoy their privacy. A lot of people, they enjoy their privacy, and a lot of people may not even be aware they can do something, because even in this industry, there is so much to learn every day, and a lot of people have a lot of other stuff going on in their life, and it can be quite difficult to keep up with everything. But yeah, there will always be a demand for content creators, always be a demand for more stuff, and it's really about trying to first making good content, of course, but then also trying to, let's say, find some kind of niche where you can sort of create some consistent pattern, where it really is some form of win-win system. And then eventually you get to this that I talked about in the past, that eventually you do have all these. So let's say you get a full-scale adoption on something new. So let's say you have one content creator, and then you have 999 content consumers with token capability. So when they have, so in the beginning, maybe 1 or 2 years, it takes a lot of energy and effort for them to sort of understand how to use new systems. But then when they understand how the new systems works, and when they have the tokens, it doesn't really cost them anything to reward the great stuff that they enjoy, because those 999 content curators, then eventually they like, if every person is like a super tiny sum, it adds up quite rapidly. Even if 900 of them almost have nothing, and then like 90 of them have something, that can level it out so much, which is kind of fascinating with exponential technology, how it really can level out and how it really can work, because exponential technology doesn't work in the linear fashion. If it did work in a linear system, this would never work. These systems would never scale. YouTube would not be possible. You would not be able to pay the content creators anything. But now, just because Google is in an exponential industry, they can afford to run Google without doing a massive ROI. And why can they do that? Because they have profits coming in from other things they're doing. So they can basically offer you free hosting, right? And that is kind of epic, that you don't have to really pay for hosting now. It's like you have a bunch of services that can basically give you hosting of videos or blogs and stuff like that for free. Sure, there is always some form of cost, time and energy, or your attention. There's always some form of trade going on, but it's all about trying to sort of find a balance. So let's take this thing that yeah, Google sort of, they sell people's data and stuff like that. But then again, a person, okay, they're doing that thing. Maybe a person doesn't like it, but then maybe you can see where you can get the benefits. So you can use Google servers with the free data that they are offering you, so you can reach more people to do something, right? And that is basically what you're trying to create in crypto as well, with win-win systems, with token-based systems that are not really gonna pay off the first couple of years, because they're only going to start to pay off when people sit on tokens and when it has some form of value, because it has value, because it actually has real content being produced. The big problem with a lot of these systems in the beginning is, okay, cool, we can have a lot of tokens, but we have no content. We have no level of content. We have no, like, the people are actually trying to produce some form of good stuff. So just because they don't have that, sure, you can have the money, but if you don't have the content creators that is actually investing in a new system and trying to be capable for that system, then if you don't have that, then you don't have the content consumers. So you have these three groups, or you know you have the investors, you have the consumers, and you have the sort of creators, and then you sort of have the mix in between, and all these groups needs to sort of come together and do their 30% of the work. So 30% is going to be the investors, the money. 30% is going to be the creations, so the demand for new content, and 30% is going to be from the consumers that also bring their friends on board. Because if you do just have the consumers and they just earning by curating, it levels out. Like 30% of the people is just consumers. I mean, that's great, right? But then eventually, now I'm talking about it from a pie to make it a little bit more elegant. But then eventually, probably most of the pie is going to be the consumers. So maybe it's like 90%. And that is epic. Positive feedback loop. Win-win. All sides is like getting something, right? Maybe they're not getting a fortune, but they're getting something. And that is the most important aspect. And the fun part about this exponential industry is, if a lot of stuff doesn't work out, something is going to work out. And if nothing works out, the robots are going to do all the work. And then you're fine either way, right? So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. And the reason why I think about it is because I do have a channel with 1.3 million subscribers, and I can put out any video and it gets thousands of views, and it's like, it's interesting, right? Because I don't leech that daily. Like I don't do a video daily, even though I can. But this is like what I think also is going to happen, that people only try to, or it's probably healthy for the whole ecosystem in the world, if people just try to take what they need, and even if they can leech something more, that you have some, you feel abundant, and you realize, oh, maybe I don't need more today. So yeah, but that's for another video, talking a little bit about. But yeah, I think there always is going to be a demand for amazing content, and I also believe that everyone can base, even though it sounds like super pseudo, but I think that everyone has the intelligence to create amazing content, and to, if they really want to do that, everyone can create amazing content. And just because, I mean, they have intelligence, right? They're gonna become more intelligent. Like if they're doing a craft daily, something is gonna come out of it, right? You're gonna become better. Like you're gonna learn some tricks how to do better work, right? So yeah, always it's really good to know that there's always going to be a demand, but you need these pies coming together, and it's going to happen. I already see it happening. Have a great day, DTube and the Steam blockchain. Bye bye.